This is Jonathan Angel here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined for the first time, I believe, by Robbie Davies Jr. all the way from Liverpool. Robbie, how you doing, and how's the last few weeks been?
I'm doing okay. Just basically the most I can do is just keep positive and keep a routine. And I think that's helped me the most, just keeping a bit of routine, waking up early, getting training done, and then just getting chores and things around the house and just keeping myself busy, really. There's not many things you can do during the pandemic, is there?
I mean, restrictions have eased a bit, so has it made training a bit easier, or is it kind of sort of the same sort of routine?
It is pretty much the same routine. Like, I had my old amateur club has been completely closed, but so they give me the keys so I can use their gym if I want, and so I've been able to go and do a bit of boxing on my own, and then I've been doing plenty of runs myself, tracking all my own times and things like that. I've got I robbed it at a spinning bike off one of my nutritionists, so I've had pretty much everything I needed, like, to tick over, so it hasn't been too bad.
What fights or fighters have you been sort of watching during this period? Have you got any particular fights that you enjoy watching back, or fighters you sort of look up to?
Not so much that I look up to, but like when I'm watching fights and things like that, from present day, I watch people like Canelo Alvarez. I think he's pretty much the complete article. He's quality fighter. But then if I want to watch a few ding dongs, I watch like Pereira, Morales, Mickey Ward versus what's his name? Gatti, yeah. So I watch a few of them, but then sometimes I watch like Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward and watch their defensive side of things. So I just tick over with the boxing, and pretty much I've watched every fight 1,000 times, I think. So I don't watch it too much again and again. I can't wait for it all to kick off again so I can start watching it. I said this on a post a few weeks ago. Like, as much as I love boxing, being a part of it, I miss being a spectator as well and going to the shows and watching and things like that as well.
How much contact have you had with Dominic Engle during this period? You obviously joined him in January. What sort of contact have you had with him?
With Dominic, we're all in a group chat anyway, so we're all just talking junk constantly, and that nothing to do with boxing, as you can imagine what gets said between a gang of fellas. But like, if there's anything I need to ask him in relation to like nutrition or my boxing, or what he thinks I should be doing, or if he thinks I'm doing too much while I'm ticking over, I'll just drop him a message and he just gets back to me when he's free. So there's no like distance of, I can't get hold of him or anything like that, and there's never any rush to get hold of him for anything. So it's been pretty good. Like, obviously he's just like us. He's very like me in ways. Like, he's got his routine set out for himself. So until boxing is back, he's probably just got himself ticking over and doing what he can as well.
Just talk to me a bit about the move to Dominic's gym, the Ingle Gym, famous gym, of course, and being around the lads in the gym. You've got Kid Galahad, Kell Brook, Liam Williams, Willie Hutchinson. There's more as well. What's it like being in that sort of environment? Are you enjoying it? Is it doing well?
Yeah, well, from me last camp, like from when I joined to me fight, I was only in the gym like 8 weeks all in all. But so for the first, and then I was having like a couple of days before and a couple of days back home, then a couple of days before I fully thought this is the gym I want to be in. And I spoke to Dominic, got my manager to speak to Dominic, and then we got the ball rolling. But at first, I was a bit like standoffish, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm the new lad in the gym, but then after a week or so, all the lads warmed to me, and just like I've always been there now. It's a good crack, and I enjoy the training. It's very structured, very disciplined, and what I love is routine, and that's the way it's set out.
What were sort of the main reasons for moving to Dominic Engle? I mean, he's got, great pedigree with training so many sort of champions, and a lot of people in the gym are on the verge of sort of title shots themselves. Was that sort of the key factors?
It was more, I wanted to be in a gym where I could like bounce off other champions and be be pushed during my training sessions, see what they're doing and drive myself harder. Where in previous years, I've more or less trained on my own, and after years, it starts to take its toll on you. And like being the number one in the gym isn't nothing when there's no one else in there. Do you know what I mean? So when I was like talking to quite a few gyms, some down south, some north, Manchester ways, and then when the opportunity come up to go and have a talk with Dominic, because I know there's loads of fighters that go to Dominic and say they want to train with him, and he turns them away because he hasn't got time for them, or they'll want too much attention, things like that. And when I got the opportunity to go down there, I was a bit starstruck by all the lads in the gym, and I was thinking like, because I think I've achieved fairly well already, and then when you're in a gym with the likes of them, like I was the back of the queue, and I was thinking like, this is the sort of gym I want to be in. And then when I got involved in like in all the crack and having a laugh, and I was enjoying the training, and I was pushing myself more and more, I just thought like, I rang my manager after about a week and said, speak to Dominic and see if he's happy with me training there, because like this is the gym I want to be in. And then from then we've ticked over, but only for like this pandemic now, like even after my last fight, because I'm constantly training. Anyone that follows me on social media, I live it. And I would have been up there now, ticking over and learning more and more and more. But like this has put a hold on things where really I've only had like 8 weeks under Dominic, and all the rest of the time is just speaking to him through text messages or on the phone. So I'm hoping to get back there as soon as possible.
Has he added anything specifically to your game or changed anything in sort of the very short time you've been with him?
With the Ingle Gym, what they do is they don't try and change your initial like fundamentals of the way you fight. They just teach everybody the same, and then you can take what you want out of the way they train you into your arsenal. Like the lines of what people go on about and things like that, that's not something you can learn overnight. And I feel like I was just getting the hang of it before all this, and I feel like when I go back, I'm going to have to learn it all again. And like even doing a pad session or just things like that, it's not really like sessions where you're just trying to bang it out and work hard. There's a lot of stuff that's like got to keep your mind triggered as well, and make sure you're switched on mentally as well. And it's draining when you're getting it wrong, constant. And then I started getting better at it. And Dom went from saying, what's going on with you here, to like saying, oh, you're getting it now, and then that gives you that little boost to get better at it. But I just feel now, having this rest off, I'm going to be going back, and I'm going to be like, I've gone back to square one, but we'll soon find out when we get back there anyway.
Have you been given any sort of specific date on when you might be returning there?
No, my manager's had a little talk with Matchroom, and they're speaking over a few things. So I've been offered fights on other shows already. I can't say you, but I got offered to fight a former world champion behind closed doors in another country, literally within the last week. So I'm still getting thought of in a high caliber, which is also good as well. Do you know what I mean?
We'll come on to that in a minute. I do want to just talk about your fight on March 7th. It probably feels like ages ago now, but you must be sort of pleased to have got out, in terms of, you got the rounds in, and realistically, from a financial perspective, it was sort of the last show there was in the UK before the pandemic. So I guess you must be quite pleased that you got that in just in time.
Yeah, literally touch lucky with that to get onto that show. Because I think it was like, I think the next shows all started getting cancelled right after it. And it was like on that fight, it was like the first time I had to fight like under instruction and just do like exactly what someone told me, because I was dying to just go out in that fight and just absolutely steamroll them. But then Dominic wanted me moving my feet, getting behind my jab and things like that, and then I was fine. I was like trapped in between two styles, and that's why I think like I couldn't get him out of there, because I was trying not to get it and trying to move around, and it was all just new to me, and I was trying to fight under instruction rather than just listen to what I think's best, what I've done previous times, many times, and just went out there and had an absolute tear up, which is always good for the crowd, like. But after it, like, everyone in the changing room was happy besides me. Like, they were all like, "You haven't got a mark on you. What are you moaning for? You hardly got it." And I was like, could have just blew him away though. And they were like, "Yeah, but in the same time, you would have took a load of shots doing it. Where you look like you've had a spar now." And I was like, "I feel like I've had harder spars in this camp." Do you know what I mean? So it had its pros and cons, but when the pandemic hit, and I was absolutely over the moon that I had the fight in. So as long as I don't have to wait too long, hopefully, because Eddie did speak to me after it, and he said, "You'll get a big fight next." That was before the pandemic, though, so now we've just got to wait and see what happens.
Obviously, this Matchroom fight camp has been sort of announced in the Matchroom headquarters gardens. Is that a possibility of you getting on? There's only 4 shows, I believe, 20 fights overall, but is that a possibility?
Do you know what? I couldn't tell you. If the fights make sense for me, and it can progress me towards where I want to be for the end of the year, then it will make perfect sense to me. But at the same time, my missus is pregnant now, and I'm due in September. So ideally, I want to fight before September. Do you know what I mean? So if I can get on any time before then, I'll be happy. That's because I don't want to miss the birth of my kid because I'm up in Sheffield training. Do you know what I mean?
Is that your first kid?
Yeah, it's me first.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
Over the moon, like.
A lot of sleepless nights are coming, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's why I need to fight before September, because I might be finished after that. I'll have eyes like that.
I mean, you've only had 2 defeats in your career, obviously former British and European champion. You are at a very good level. Where do you sort of see sort of the future going for you? Do you want sort of, a European level fight? What's sort of the plan?
What I wanted was like European fringe world title level, someone that might have been a world champion and now he's not, or someone that's fought for a world title and fell short, somewhere along them lines. Where, because now with the defeat against Ritson that went against me, it took me out of the governing body rankings, and so my first goal is to get back into them rankings. So I need to fight someone of a decent caliber, or someone in them, someone who's in like WBA or WBC rankings, and then steal their spot, and then obviously progress towards the end of the year, and then hopefully by next year I can get a big fight where it can put me in the line for someone of a world title level opportunity.
What was your mindset like after the sort of defeat to Ritson? It was obviously a very enthralling fight. The public really enjoyed it. Is that a fight you want to avenge sort of later down the line? And sort of how do you sort of reflect, having quite a few months now to think about it?
Yeah, it's definitely a fight. Like, I'll always want the rematch. I hate losing in a game of cards, so you can imagine when I'm like over this. Do you know what I mean? And like, I always feel like it takes a piece away from your character when you take a defeat. Like these sort of interviews, what I'm doing with yourself now, I've been asked to do 100 of these since the pandemic, and there's been very little that I've even got back to. And then I've done one the other week, and then I feel like it's got the ball rolling again. So I'll like start trying to get myself back up again, because even though I've had a fight and I'm back to winning ways, I still think to myself, like, because I thought I won that fight against Lewis Ritson, and I know a lot of other people did as well, but you think to yourself, it was a close fight, it was in his back garden. Do you know what I mean? He could throw a punch and miss, and the crowd went mental. Do you know what I mean? So it was one of them. I'd love to fight him again on a neutral ground. That's not even saying in Liverpool, just even on a neutral venue, and see how we go then. But it's definitely a fight I look for in the future. Like, Lewis has got his own journey now. He's quite a bit ahead of me. But I'll just have to make sure I keep winning. So if Lewis slips up, it put me in the line for a rematch.
How did you enjoy sort of the whole build up to it? It was quite a sort of a rivalry which boiled over at times, but it sort of made for such a fight that it was.
Do you know what? Like, I even look at it now. Like, I'd never say like me and Lewis disliked each other personally, but I think we've both got that competitive edge where like you think you can beat me, I think I can beat you, that sort of thing. It was more, the needle came more from we both thought we could beat each other, not through something more personally. And then the bit of drama that happened before it at the Liverpool, like the smaller Liverpool show, that was just, I don't know where that come from. Like I got absolutely crucified because I called him a melt or something like that. I think I've been watching Love Island too much that week because I don't even say that word. And every time anyone said anything to me from Newcastle, they were like, "Shut up, you melt," and I was like, "Oh," crucified me for it. But yeah, sometime down the line, I hope we can do it again.
Yeah. Just touching on sort of back onto the Ingle Gym, you've got sort of the likes of, as I mentioned, Liam Williams, Kid Galahad, all close to world title shots. How much does that give you confidence that, you know, if you look at sort of Liam, for example, he was, you know, British champion, he sort of moved up the rankings towards where he's pretty much mandatory, is mandatory for the world title shot. How much
Yeah.
confidence does that give you that with Dom you can get to that level and quite quickly?
Well, Liam Williams, as an example, Liam Williams was coming in. I think he went to Dominic off back-to-back defeats, and now he's moved up in weight and he's ready to fight for a world title. And he hasn't like just scraped through the fights. He's looked the dogs. He's absolutely blew everyone away. So hopefully I can follow in the same sort of footsteps and I can go on to achieve and get myself in a mandatory position and start knocking on doors, etc.
Who do you see him winning against Andrade should he get that fight, Liam?
Liam Williams, honestly, he's a very good fighter. He's very powerful and he's very clever. I think the best way he will win is when him and Dominic will set a game plan and Liam will follow it, and that's the way he'll win the world title.
If you were to sort of, you know, get a world title shot, is the dream venue Anfield? Would that be a dream?
Do you know what? Like, only since it started getting like talked about and people were saying like, there's possibilities of Anfield, it become the dream then. Before that, I always said like, my dream would be to fight at Madison Square Garden, because it is like the mecca of boxing. Like over the years, you can have Vegas, you can have Wembley, you can have all that, but Madison Square Garden for me is the mecca of boxing. If you fight there, you've achieved a lot, I think. And if it was for a world title, I'd have to pinch myself walking into the arena.
Final sort of one, what sort of motivates you to sort of box, especially sort of during this pandemic where there's no fight news imminent, but yeah, what was your motivation even generally?
The motivation is just to be better, honestly. Like, I wake up every day and I see someone on social media training and I think, oh, that's good, I'll do that. Or I see someone accomplishing their own dreams of what they wanted in boxing and things like that. And I think I want to live out my dream. I want to do what they're doing. I honestly, some people need something in them, like they need like a newborn baby, or they're doing it for a loved one, or they wanna buy a new house and things like that for their motivation. I am honestly driven from within. Like, I want this so badly, like passionately. Like, to win a world title means so much to me. Like, when I won the British and the Commonwealth and the European, yeah, they are the great belts to win. But no exaggeration, they sit upstairs in a spare room in a cupboard in my house. Like, I don't show them off, and I don't go around gyms like getting pictures with me belt and things like that, because the only dream I've ever had is to become a world champion, and it's still my only dream now.
Well, Robbie, thanks very much for coming on, giving us some time today. Final one, you know, no fight news obviously imminent. We're not sure if you're going to be on that Matchroom fight camp, but sort of by the end of this year, are you hoping to just have one, maybe two fights? What's your ideal sort of end to this year?
Ideally for me, I'd have a big fight before the baby's here, whenever that is. Get me back in the mix, and then at the end of the year, if possible, like say I was to fight August, fight again in December, have another big fight, possibly. Like, so my first one got me back into the rankings. My second one, I'd fight someone else who was also in the rankings, like an even bigger fight. And I just want to keep progressing bit by bit, keep chipping away, and hopefully by next year be back in the mix with the top boys.
Brilliant stuff. Robbie Davies, thanks very much for your time, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
I appreciate it anyway. Thank you.